WWE Backlash is on 9/11. Yes, that 9/11. And before we go on, I just want to say I do have. It's a weird thing because WWE, ever since 9/11 happened, have always tried to lift the spirits of America, lift the spirits of the troops. But that has been. I think we're coming up on maybe 12, 13 years since that happened. Maybe more than that. 15, I think. 15 sounds about right since that happened. Uh, just trying to think there for a second, but it's a weird situation, and it's kind of like when they have a pay per view on like a Father's Day or a Mother's Day, except it means a lot more. I'm not saying Mother's Day and Father's Day is not important. That means a lot as well. It's just this was a day of a national tragedy. I remember I was a kid when that fucking happened, and I didn't know what was going on. I know all I know is we got let out of school, and weren't really well told why because we couldn't really understand it. And I apologize if I stutter a little bit, just trying to remember what's going on. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's a show on a day, and hopefully they can just make the most of it, like they have last night on SmackDown with the introduction of the tag team championships and a new women's championship. I just want to say first off, before we go further, I love the silver and blue design on the SmackDown tag titles. It looks a lot better. I mean, I've always felt that silver and gold looks better on a belt than whatever the hell copper penny belt thing on Raw. It looks a lot better presentation wise. The blue strap is uh, is a different touch, but it's a lot better compared to the Universal title. Way better than the Universal title. I mean, people might not like the blue strap at first, but you'll get used to it. It's a great design. Silver and blue is a interesting color thing there, but I like it. Speaking of those tag titles though, there's a tag team tournament so far to crown new champions. And so far, it's not really a full tournament. It's like maybe 8 tag teams, maybe barely 8 tag teams on SmackDown, if you're counting something later on here. So far, the only two that have advanced to the semifinals are American Alpha and Breezango. No, actually, no, American Alpha and Usos, excuse me. Of course, it'd be the fucking Usos. But those are the only 2 matches we saw. I mean, there's still a lot of good tag teams like the Vaudevillains. Brizongo's out of the tournament. Ascension's out of the tournament. The Hype Bros are still there. Um, and the team of Heath Slater and Rhino, which Heath Slater found a partner. He was looking for partners, AJ Styles, The Miz, Arn Anderson of all people. That would have been amazing, by the way, having Arn Anderson in a match. He obviously can't do it because of his neck and everything, but and all the things that happened in his career. The toll on a body in this takes a lot out of you. But I swear to God, if you would pick Arn Anderson in his prime, that'd be a hell of a tag partner. I'll just say that much. But he could probably do a few matches or a few spots. I mean, he did the spine buster with Ric Flair, Undertaker at WrestleMania 18, which was a great moment for sure. I didn't expect it for sure, but then he found Rhino. Heath Slater found a Rhino, and the thing is here, if Heath Slater and Rhino go all the way and win this tournament like Heath Slater guaranteed, he will get a SmackDown contract. Now I can't really say much about this tournament because the only thing about the tournament for this card is the finals. So if anything, American Alpha is a great team to win it. The Usos, because of course they're the faces of tag divisions. They've been there for like a couple years now, and people are getting tired of it. Myself included. But, I honestly don't think they'll have Heath Slater and Rhino win. Especially with Rhino's Senate duties as of late. He recently won a primary in Michigan on the Republican ticket, which is very hard to do in Michigan from time to time. But I really think they would put the titles on Slater and Rhino. I mean, it would make sense. It would end the contract storyline. I mean, Heath Slater already is owed a contract because he beat Randy Orton by disqualification. They took it away from him. It's just ridiculous, but Is what it is. But we'll see what happens with the tournament as it progresses. Next up is a 6-woman tag match. I'm sorry, a six pack challenge. The tag match is on SummerSlam. Excuse me, for the vacant women's championship. Before we go on to that match, I just want to say the women's championship. I wasn't really expecting anything, anything exciting for the title, like anything. If anything, I would have loved to have the old women's title back for SmackDown, but that wasn't going to happen. But it looks okay. Blue and white is a different combination again, much like the silver and blue. But if anything, I don't know which one looks better, the Raw one or the SmackDown one. They're both, they're using primary colors. It's a thing. So yeah. But with that, we have a historic match, a match that I don't think has ever happened in the history of wrestling. At least not until Survivor Series in 2001. But when they brought back the women's title, ironically, is a 6-pack women's challenge. A 6-pack challenge normally, it's first fall wins it. Sometimes it's elimination. Maybe rarely it's elimination, but as far as we know, it's a 6-pack challenge. It's the first one of the new era. Actually, the first one for women in a very long time. Again, since Survivor Series 2001, when the Invasion angle was coming to the close. But it's an interesting match because it has Natalya, Naomi, who has a new entrant, which is awesome, by the way. Becky Lynch, the returning Nikki Bella, who returned at SummerSlam. Carmella, who I guess is a heel now, and Alexa Bliss. Honestly, any of these women deserve this belt. Any of these women could possibly be the champion. I mean, the odds are probably putting it back on Nikki, but that'd be too obvious. Natalya, if anything, any of these women deserve a run with the belt. All of them do. But I feel like Becky Lynch has been not used properly for a long time. Not in a bad way. It's just, she's just been the third wheel of every storyline involving a title. It would be a hell of a story for Becky Lynch to finally win a women's championship. She didn't do it in NXT. She didn't do it on Raw. Might as well do it on SmackDown, where it matters. Naomi has been one of the best women wrestlers in the world. I've said for years is probably one of the most athletic women on the roster. And probably for a few years down the line was pretty much penciled in my view, as a champion down the road. This could be the perfect time for it. Natalya, she hasn't had a belt in years. She's recently had a couple runs with a belt down the road on Raw. But I don't know. One last run, we don't know how many years Natalya has left in her. So just give her one run for the hell of it. Nikki Bella, again, it's too obvious to put her on the belt. I wouldn't think it would happen. Carmella, again, I don't think would be the winner, but it's possible. And Alexa Bliss is kind of the same thing. They're both new on the roster. It'd be interesting to see some new blow of a belt, but I don't think it'll happen. I really don't. But I wouldn't be surprised if any of them won the belt. And we'll just cut it off here for the final match so far on Backlash.